Well, my materials get delivered today. There's some of the framing material there, and our roof shingles and cement blocks, and our roof sheathing and deck sheathing, and most of our studs. Now to finish getting my tools set up. I really like this miter stand. Had it for a long time, probably 25 years. It works great. So the first order of business is to get my floor joists over there on the sawhorses, and we'll get cutting them to length. I have to take 3 inches off each one, so they'll fit inside of the rim joist, and I'll show you how I lay them out. Somebody might be interested in that. If you're not, you can just pass by that video. But the reason I cut 3 inches off is because framing timber is 1.5 inches thick, and we want to come up with a finished dimension of 8 feet. And so with floor joists that are 8 foot long, you subtract 3 inches off to accommodate the front and the rear rim joist, and then you get your final dimension of 8 feet total. That way when you put your plywood on, it's not missing the rim joist. Now, I'm going to show you how to lay out for your rim joist. And this is 12 foot long. We're going to be doing 16 inches on center. And so, first thing we want to do is to crown your rim joist. And I've already done that. I have the crown facing away from me, and I put an arrow on. I put an arrow on there, just like that. I know it's hard for you to see, so I know that that's pointing up. I've already crowned them, and the way you do that is by tipping the board up on edge, and you sight down it along the edge like this, and you should be able to see that there's a little bit of a rise in that, and that's what you want. You always want the crown up, because any pressure that you put on it, it'll push down and want to straighten it, rather than if you already have the crown down, it's already sagging before you start, and you sure don't want that. So then the next thing is to make sure that our pieces are exactly the same length, and we get this end lined up like that. We come down here and we look, and let's see what we got. Looks like we got a little bit of a discrepancy there. So I'm going to measure this and make sure they're exactly the same. And if I have to cut one, I will. And then we'll get on to doing our layout. These are not an exact length. You can see the mark there. That's the 12-foot mark on each one of them. And another problem we have is if I put my framing square on here, now this one's not too bad, but it's a more than 1/16, almost 1/8 of an inch out of square. And let's check the other one. Yeah, about the same on both, almost 1/8 of an inch out of square. So this will help us to get them squared up, cutting them to length as well. When you're cutting, you got to make sure you follow the line and keep it straight. So now we're ready to start doing our layout. I like to run my tape right down the middle. I used to have a narrow tape that I always used for framing, that my framing square would fit over nicely. I gave it to my youngest son, who is now doing construction work. Grab my framing square here, and 16 on center is what we're doing. So this is an 1.5 inch wide framing square, and if it was a narrow piece, you could actually use this hole to sight down through and see your 16-inch mark right there. See that? But I know from doing it for many years that 15 1/4 and 16 excuse me, 16 3/4 on the other side gives me 16 on center. And I'm going to run this all the way down and bring you right back. By laying them both out together at the same time, you know that they're going to match one another exactly. And that is very, very important. You want your front and your back to be parallel so that when you're doing your framing, your floor joists are running straight. Got to slide these back because one of them is bent down a little bit. To get them flat. I guess one is twisted a little bit more than the other. It's important that they're made out the right way together. Now it's not necessary to mark them on the ends because you know that your ends are going to be inside of that 1.5 inch on either end. So we're ready to count off how many floor joists we need, and let me take you along and show you how I do it. Now we could figure this out easy enough, but this is a simple way. You got one on the end, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we know that we need to have 10 floor joists cut and make them all the same and make them square on the ends.